When I first met James, the first impression I had of him was, how could there be somebody with a more Texas country accent than myself? But I quickly learned that outside of that accent, his intellect, his ability to structure a deal was far surpassed by anybody I'd ever seen before.
James was a great banker, probably one of the best numbers people I've ever run across, but always a person of integrity, a person that always did the right thing.
James is so visionary. In other words, you would think that when he's making a decision that you think he risk-taking. But James is so analytical that he's so visionary, he's probably thought it way years ago before it comes.
Working with James Baine is a very intense situation always, but it's very enlightening. Enlightening in that things got accomplished, things got done. It was a good pattern for future projects, and it was, like I say, overall it was a very enlightening experience.
The world defines success differently than I define success. Successful to me is being compassionate and hardworking, being forthright and hardworking, and doing the difficult things and the right thing when nobody else is looking. Those are big things to me.
James is a person who really gives you the impression that he's not impressed with himself. He's one of these people that doesn't want anybody to know it, but he goes out, helps the poor, helps anybody and everybody that needs anything, and never wants any credit for it. And I found him to be someone who listens very carefully, makes good decisions, and is just really an unusually bright guy that really cares for people.
As our relationship, both business and personal, has developed over the years, I have come to see that James is incredibly skillful in finance and real estate, but much more than that, he has, and we use these words in business so frequently, character, integrity, honesty, but those are traits that came very easy for him because those are just personal traits that manifest himself in his business practices. And I saw him do that in his dealings with me professionally and both personally, and I've seen it with all those people he's dealt with for 30, 35 years now.
Some of the skills I learned from him, I'm doing it in my church and I'm doing it in the community, and it's coming back tenfold to me.
What brings me the most peace is my relationship with God and Jesus Christ, and what brings after that is my relationship with my wife Jill and my son Stephen and Jamie and my new daughter-in-law Sophia, and my relationship with my mother and my relationship with my siblings. And I've been blessed enough to have a network of friends that I would gladly give my life for.
He really respects and cares for people, and he really wants people to succeed.
Well, as I use James as a compass in business and my personal life, I reflect on all those attributes that he has outside of his business skills, which are compassion and care and a spiritual balance that he's always has. And so as I reflect and look back at him, I know that he has made me a better business person, but he's also made me a better man.
When I learned that you could use money and influence for the good of other people besides yourself and that being able to use that money and influence to be able to make an impact in somebody else's life other than your own were big turning points for me. I truly wanted to make an impact in somebody's life that was positive for them. There was no intent other than I could see the person behind the circumstance instead of the circumstance. And so I leaned myself into believing in the person instead of the circumstances. And quite frankly, I was never disappointed, and I wished I'd have done more.